Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of HP Critical. It's a podcast where my friends and I talk all things gaming. I am Jarrell, and today I am joined by Christy.
Hi, everybody!
And Brandon.
Oh, is it me? I'm sorry, I was too busy playing Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent on my mobile device by Square Enix, hashtag not sponsored. I guess I should put it down so we can have the podcast.
Totally not sponsored. Totally not sponsored.
Brandon, who did you pull first?
So, I was telling Christy earlier, I actually managed to get Tressa on first try. 5-star Tressa. It was.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, as your first summon?
Like
when
it was my first summon.
game?
No. My first character was a character called Theo. But, like, when I got the first, like, available, like, pulls, like, the chosen thing that I have available, I got Tressa. Which I'm very happy about.
I have rerolled 3 times, and I still got the same girl, and I'm just like, please, I don't want her.
Oh, you got a girl? I got
really
this guy who's like a hunter. I forgot what his name was.
I've gotten the ice healer girl like 3 times. I'm like, you know what? If I get her a 4th time, it was just meant to be. Yeah, Octopath Traveler Continent.
Is she not cute or something?
No. She's super cute, but she's not who I want because, you know, the game's been out in JP and there's specifically a character that I was looking forward to pulling. But I'm also too lazy to continue to reroll because there's no skip. So you can't just skip through the same prologue, and I'm like sat there tapping through it. And I was not feeling good today, which I'm still not. So today might be a shorter podcast. It's been a very busy week.
I think we only have a few news stories anyway, so it'll probably go quick in that regard anyway.
Yeah.
I think so.
But yeah, let's start with what you guys have been playing. Since Brandon brought it up a little bit, let's start with what you've been playing. So what have you guys been playing?
Yeah, so go ahead, Christy.
Oh, I was about to say, kind of more Fire Emblem Heroes on my mobile from time to time because there's the Forging Bonds thing, and then depending, it's Final Fantasy 12, Zodiac Age for our wonderful JRPG podcast. Totally not sponsored. Plug right here. You should totally check out our JRPG podcast for Final Fantasy 12. And then I've also been playing Tales of Arise. And then trying to play through 3 Fire Emblem 3 Hopes. There's also Xenoblade. Trying to catch up on that, which isn't going to happen. There's AI the Summoning Files, Nirvana Initiative. What else am I playing?
Wait a minute. Is that all there's been this week?
Yeah, I kind of like go through like maybe 10 minutes of each game and hope for the best.
My God, this girl and her buffet type gameplay. Man, I envy,
what about you, Brandon?
I envy it though. Yeah, as I alluded to earlier, I was pretty much for like a good 2 hours this morning. I was playing Octopath Traveler, Champions of the Continent. I like it. The movement is not my favorite, but the battles are pretty much, you know, like it was in the mainline game. So I'm happy about that. That's the main thing I cared about, if I'm being perfectly honest. But besides that, as far as the week has been concerned. It's been FF12 Zodiac Age as well as Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. I'm very, very close to the end. I'm like literally on the final chapter of the bad ending. But I will work on getting the good ending in a little bit because right after I finish that, I do intend to get to Live Alive because I really want to play more of that. But those are the main 3 ones: Live Alive, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, and now Octopath.
Yeah, it's I just want to get to Triangle Strategy, but you know, life. I played recently as Dusk Falls.
Okay.
And I also played the hell is that game called?
What is it? Well, describe the
game.
game.
The Cuphead DLC.
I
played and finished the Cuphead DLC, the Delicious Last Course. It's
nice.
Super cute. It's very short, much shorter than
really?
I assumed. Yeah, there's like maybe 4 or 5 bosses in there. So very short, but it was cute. It was fun. It had like a little mystery element, nice little story. There's extra things to do if you figure out. There's like a little riddle there. There's some extra things to do in there. But yeah, it was really fun. Hi Grayson. I opened up chat. Hi Grayson and hi Gabe. It's great to see you guys. It's gonna be a very short podcast. I'm very very happy to see you guys. It's awesome.
It's gonna be short, but it's gonna be even sweeter.
Dropping on in and maybe
it's like short
later
and
on.
Sweet.
Oh man. Oh. For all of our visual watchers of the podcast, Christy is holding up her Pikachu dressed up as Charizard, but that's not all. Wait, do you have the other one that's still on you? Okay, I was like, okay, perfect. Yes, there it is. The Pikachu dressed up as the Mimikyu with the Gengar bag, which, when you think about what Mimikyu is, that's kind of crazy to think about. It's still adorable, though.
I've also been playing War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, which
nice.
I play a lot, but I brought that up for a very special reason that I'm going to mention. Not on this podcast, I think maybe next podcast, because I'll have something about War of the Visions and me that I want to share. And it's not as exciting as it sounds. It's actually really boring. I'm making this sound like it's going to be great. It's really nothing. It's not going to be some special announcement. So, yeah. So let's get into news so that we can play a game of 20 questions before I let you guys go. And hopefully if Gabe and Grayson are still around, they might be able to help you guys out. Hopefully. I think I mentioned that I did mention that, so let's not reiterate that because I did mention that. So Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves trailer dropped at San Diego Comic-Con. As the big D&D nerd on HPCritical, I of course had to come and mention it. It looks really great. Mm-hmm. I'm super excited for it. Have either of you watched the trailer by any chance?
Can't say I have, but the movie sounds interesting.
No, I have not.
Well, you ain't missing much if you don't care about Dungeons and Dragons, so there's that. But if you do, you should definitely check it out. It looks really, really good. Also, Ubisoft has apparently canned their new Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell, and 2 other games. This is from PocketLint.com, written by Adrian Willings. And it has been revealed that Ubisoft has canceled the development of some of its planned upcoming games. They've been working on a few different games that they've teased recently. Those games include a VR outing for Splinter Cell in development by Ubisoft's Red Storm Studio, and the much maligned Ghost Recon Frontline.
In response to that news, I just put an F in the chat if anyone else would like to follow suit.
Okay, I was like, what just happened? I was like, what just happened? However, it's okay because, guys, they do have plenty of other things in the works. Skull and Bones, which is going to release on November 8th. As well as rumors about the next Assassin's Creed game as well. So, I mean, are people really sad about Splinter Cell and Ghost Recon?
Splinter Cell, I know, definitely has some big fans. Ghost Recon, I'm sure.
I didn't say it didn't have big fans. I said, are people sad? Because you can be a big fan and not be sad.
That's very true. Maybe people are getting fatigued. I don't know. Like Tom Clancy, to me, like there's so many different spin-offs, but yet I feel like it's not as milked as other Ubisoft franchises. But maybe that's just from an outsider looking in's perspective, that is.
Yeah, that's what I feel like too. It's not as milk compared to like the Assassin's Creed, where I feel like you see it almost everywhere. I might be wrong because I mean, those really aren't my type of games I technically play. So who knows?
Well, I'll move on then to Avatar, which I can finally talk about because last year or the year before, whenever everyone was like, oh my god, Avatar is back on Netflix, I finally watched the whole thing. It's a great show. I can't believe it took me like years. Yes, I finally sat down and watched the entire thing. It's amazing. It's such a great show. Loved every second of it.
I am proud of you.
I know.
I'm proud of you.
I almost never finish anything. So, like, very, very great show. I'm super, super happy. So, from San Diego Comic-Con, the first Avatar Studios movie, because remember, they made their own studios, coming to theaters in 2024, will no longer be about Kyoshi, but rather Aang. And exclusive from Avatar News, it'll be set in a time period where Team Avatar are young adults. So, of course, we got Avatar, the end of Avatar, and then we got Korra, which, a lot of them are grown up. The new movie will now focus on them as young adults, that period that we did not get to see, and I am very, very, very excited for this. You know, I know it's not going to be anything like Avatar. I'm assuming it's not going to be anything like Korra. But these characters were pretty iconic for the amount of episodes that they had. Like, they really made an impression. And I'd love to see, you know, because we get hints of what they've done. I didn't finish Korra, but I'd love to see just them back as young adults and the, you know, trials and tribulations that they face after everything that they've been through together. So it's super, super exciting. The Adult Gang animated film is going to be coming in 2024. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was about to say, I was like, I think there were some comics that like depicted them as young adults, but not a lot. I might be wrong though. I remember there were some comics about Aang's gang afterwards where they were like older, but I'm curious to see.
I'll say in regards to this movie, I'm extremely excited about this. When I heard that their Avatar Studios was a thing and they're making movies, I was very excited. And here's the thing, in regards to this scene, you know, like you mentioned, this is bumping off the Kyoshi movie. I would still like to see the Kyoshi movie because I was very interested in that. However, I think that this is a story that more people would want to rather see for now, about having the gang that they saw in the original show as grown adults. That's a story that we didn't really get. Like, a lot of people didn't like Korra because they wanted to see more of Team Avatar continue to do their thing as opposed to another character. So this feels like a more of a sure bet. I think down the road, maybe they could still do the Kyoshi movie and I think it would do better. But if the Avatar Studios is a thing now, they need their first movie to be a success so they can have the room to do all these other more niche movies. You know, we could see a Kyoshi movie. There could be a movie about Avatar 1 who was introduced in Korra. Maybe they'll do more of Korra's character herself. But the first one needs to succeed if we're going to get all this other stuff. And I would hate for them to have founded Avatar Studios and only be able to make one Avatar movie and then it not do well. So, you know, I'll take it. This is and I'm among those. I would rather have more Team Avatar than Kyoshi, but I still want to see Kyoshi. But yeah, I think this is better they did this first.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to see a Kyoshi Warriors movie, but I do believe, doing their very first movie with something that fans have wanted, I think that's a safer bet. Mm-hmm. However, if it's not up to fans' expectations, that's a different story. But, you know, we'll just get there when we get there. But for now, it's a really good choice.
Mm-hmm. Kyoshi was badass, so I agree
with all of
you.
Yep.
So, fun story that someone at HP Critical should cover, but I won't. Lord of the Rings has introduced the Taste of Mordor ice cream. And the reason I said someone at HP Critical that is not me is because I can't have ice cream. However, I am going to send ice cream to somebody at HP Critical so we can get a review up of this Taste of Mordor ice cream. Because I'd really like to know how someone feels about it. It is a part of the Salt and Straw's Ring of Power collection, featuring flavors like berries, cream, lembas, and more. Lord of the Rings ice cream. The only thing I don't like is that it's called the Taste of Mordor.
That doesn't sound good.
Not really. It does not sound appetizing. I'm so sorry. It doesn't sound appetizing whatsoever.
I would if I went to a Lord of the Rings themed restaurant and they gave me like something, you know, that's hot, like a Mordor steak, I'd eat the shit out of that. But Mordor ice cream, that doesn't sound great. I'll be perfectly honest.
I don't want shit from Mordor. I don't want to taste anything.
Mordor is really hot, so if you're telling me you're right. Maybe not steak. It'd have to be like something like a spicy food. Like a spicy food is like Mordor spice. I'm like, ooh, I'll try that. Or maybe I wouldn't because I like spicy food, but sometimes it can be much.
I mean, you take the spicy food and the ice cream, and let's see how long you'll be.
Well, there you go. The Mordor combo. The Mordor combo.
God.
I love it. So yeah, Wakanda Forever. The trailer was also released during San Diego Comic-Con, and it introduces Namor, Ironheart, and a brand new Black Panther. Did you guys see the trailer for this one?
I sure did.
I did.
And let me tell you.
Did you say? I'm sorry. Wait. Because I didn't understand you. Did you say I sure did or I sure didn't?
I sure did. I saw that. Okay. I've seen that trailer like 3 times now. I had to watch it like a 3rd time because I wanted to show my parents it, especially my dad, because my dad is a huge fan of Namor, the Submariner. And obviously he's a big fan of Black Panther too, but I knew he's been asking for Namor to get added to the MCU for like years. Like when they started like adding like the OG characters like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. To my dad, the Namor is like right up there with the originals, and he was like, "When is he getting added?" So I showed him the trailer, and he was like, he looked at the Atlantean for a second. Is that? And I was like, "Yeah, Dad, that's Namor." He's like, "Namor!" It was his exact words. So no, it was he was very excited about that trailer, and my parents were speculating the entire time of the trailer because it was very. I didn't even have to really tell them. It was very clear for the somebody that saw the trailer that the character T'Challa has passed away because rest in peace Chadwick Boseman. So they were speculating the entire trailer. So who's going to be taking the mantle of Black Panther? They were debating whether it was going to be either Okoye or Shuri. I'm on Team Shuri on that argument, by the way, but it's not impossible. It could be Okoye.
Christy?
I mean, yeah, I did see it. Sorry, I was waiting for Brandon. I was like, wait, is there? Okay, we're good. Yeah, I did see it. I really liked what I saw. I think visually is very stunning, and I really did like how they mixed the song, where we had a cover of I forgot what was the song's title. It's Bob Marley's, right? I forgot what exactly the song's title was, but it was something, and then I think they ended the trailer with a small, music clip from Kendrick Lamar's, All Right, right?
I believe so.
I'm so bad with song titles.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I watched the trailer one time, and all I thought was, what a great song mix.
It was, honestly, the song that sold it. The song sold it for me. I was like, this is great. This is wonderful. I'm sold. And then visually, it was just stunning. And all the cuts. It was perfect.
It was good. Gabe also has... Yeah, go for
it. The best part of the trailer was the Ironheart bit.
I'm excited to see Ironheart as well.
Mm-hmm.
I will actually reserve all of my opinions on that trailer and this movie.
Okay.
For another time, because they might be surprising and they might not be as nice as some people think. Yeah. Should I?
I mean, you should.
No, whatever. Anyway, including Black Panther, there is a open world game in development that is going to be single player, focusing on Black Panther. The supposed game will be an open world single player game and could showcase the origins of Black Panther. That is from GameSpot.com. Actually from their Twitter, so I don't know who wrote it. Sorry, guys. But yeah, there's that. So not only are we getting the movie, we're also getting, possibly getting an open world Black Panther game that's going to explore his origin. I wonder who's going to be developing it. I'm very interested.
I think didn't they say it was EA or was I wrong? Oh no, never mind. I'm totally off. I thought that they mentioned it was the developer, but I guess they didn't.
No, no, I think it is EA. It looks like it is.
Isn't EA the publisher, or but they have to have like a developer behind it?
I don't know. Y'all can go look it up. Everyone who's listening, go look it up and then write to us and tell us the answer, because I don't know. But what I do know,
what I was gonna say is EA is definitely like publishing the game and producing it, but like as far as developer, like Respawn or DICE or whatever devs they.
I don't think they've announced it yet.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They haven't announced it, and so until they do is when I'm going to reserve whether or not I'm excited for it. If I'm being perfectly honest, if it's Respawn, then I will be extremely hyped, because they can do no wrong, it seems, with their games. But we'll see.
Now I'm looking it up because we're talking about it. Now I'm looking it up. All this is that it's in early stages of development at EA's new studio, helmed by Kevin Stevens, whose previous work was on Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, Middle-earth: Shadow of War, as well as a ton of other licensed games like Gotham City Imposters, Batman Arkham City, Batman the Brave and the Bold, and the Lego Harry Potter Years 1 through 4.
Well, those are all good games, so yeah, I guess I'm excited.
From comingsoon.net by Michael Leary.
I see. Yeah, sounds like a good pedigree.
I hope y'all get all the Black Panther y'all need next year, whenever this comes out. I hope it's gonna be great for everyone.
I hope.
For everyone who loves Black Panther. So Destin Daniel Cretan. I hope I probably just
Cretan.
destroyed his name. Okay, thank
Probably
you.
Cretan.
Dustin Daniel Cretton is set to direct the Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. This is going to be, I believe, the first Avengers movie not directed by the Russo brothers.
In a while, they didn't do the first two Avengers movie. That was done by Joss Whedon.
So yeah, there's that.
Which would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the action sequence in Shang-Chi, and I thought that they were filmed beautifully. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see how it will turn out, especially with him having so much on his plate. I think his company, they're producing the Wonder Man stuff, and then he's also coming back to direct Shang-Chi too.
Busy guy.
So, but he has a lot.
But the Russo brothers also did a bunch of Marvel during their heyday as well. Like they did the latter two Captain America movies along with the latter two Avengers movies. So I think he can do it.
Unpopular opinion time, or maybe popular opinion. I'm not sure. This whole phase of like the MCU has been a mess, and people keep calling it out, and I believe they're doing so fairly.
Phase 4 was a mess. It was a complete mess. I think
been really weird.
I think the only movies that came out pretty decently was Shang-Chi and Spider-Man. Eternals was pretty decent as well too, but overall the other films, they were so-so.
I just mean for continuity, it's been kind of like all over the place. Also, I'm so disappointed because I love Shang-Chi, and I haven't seen like any reference to their characters in like anything else ever, and it's so disappointing like to see these one-offs that are, you know, getting even like Black Panther. Like, we don't know what's happened in that movie. Apparently somehow Black Panther will have died. Like, guess we'll find out while we're watching the movie, which is like another thing. Gabe says Spider-Man was more than decent, Christy.
That's definitely true. That was
But even the Eternals, right? Like, we saw what happened at the end of the Eternals for anyone who's seen it.
They did reference that big celestial coming out, and you're like, okay.
I keep seeing on Twitter there's supposed to be this huge celestial just sticking out of the middle of the ocean, and like no other movie has referenced this like at all, especially within the timeline. And even the end of that movie has some other things going on, and then you got Thor: Love and Thunder that's out. It's just like, I don't know what's going on, but I guess we'll figure it out soon. Yeah, let's move on unless there's anything else on that one. Okie dokie. Fun times. Grand Theft Auto 6 will reportedly feature its first female playable character and add new cities over time. This is from IGN.com. This is written by Joe Screbbles, and it says Grand Theft Auto 6 will reportedly feature a female playable character in its campaign for the first time. Rockstar apparently plans to launch the game with a single city, but add more locations over time through updates.
What's it done so long?
As part of a report.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. As part of a report on Rockstar by Bloomberg, sources close to the studio discussed the new female character, who will be Latina. The character will reportedly be part of a pair of bank robbers in a story influenced by real-life criminals Bonnie and Clyde. Female protagonists have previously only been available as custom characters in GTA Online, never in the game's single-player campaigns. Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser, who has since left the company, previously indicated the company was thinking about a female lead as far back as 2013. Also, the first Grand Theft Auto game featured female playable characters. This would mark the first in the 3D GTA series as we know it today. And also, you could technically play female characters in San Andreas through multiplayer too, but never as a main character.
Yeah.
The report also indicates that the launch of the version of GTA 6 will begin with fictionalized Miami and surrounding areas, presumably a return for Vice City, but will be updated with new missions and cities on a regular basis. That launch version apparently already includes more interior locations than any GTA game previously. You can check out the rest of this at IGN.com. Yeah. So, how are we feeling about GTA 6?
So
Reportedly having a Latina main character.
What took them so long to add like a female main character to their single player campaign?
Honestly, like it's been quite a minute. Before I say what I have to say, Gabe says they say 2013, like they didn't release GTA 5 20 times since then. They could have added woman in one of their re-releases. Honestly, it does disappoint me that with GTA 5, they got a lot of updates, but it was only for the online version. I was kind of hoping at some point they would add single player content for the story. Like he said, maybe added a woman to one of the main characters. They never really did that. Anyway, as far as GTA 6 itself, yeah, it's about damn time, and I'm very happy that it's going to be a female Latina character as like part of like a duo. That's one thing I really liked about GTA 5 is that you had the 3 different characters and they all had like different abilities. So I'm hoping that the Latina character and whoever the other main character is, they both have different abilities to like have the more variety gameplay. And I hope that because it's focusing on 2, that it's more of a balance, because with GTA 5, Franklin was definitely the main character, and the other 2, Michael and Trevor, were just kind of like supporting him. Like they were like the previous generation, and like Franklin was like the future essentially. So it was focused on him. And spoiler alert, there's 3 endings to GTA 5, and 2 of them may not involve them all making it, but Franklin always will. Spoilers done. Anyway. Yeah, so... but anyways. So yeah, I'm looking forward to GTA 6. But I'm a little worried by that statement they said that more cities will be added over time. Excuse me, wow.
It sounds like it'll be patched in or something. It won't be like in the base game is what it sounds like.
Well, that's a possibility too, but it's not even that. If they say that many more cities will be added later on, that says to me that that's going to be added something to like what they did with GTA 5, the online. I feel like when 6 actually does come out, it's going to replace the existing GTA Online infrastructure, and that's going to be kind of their focus. I feel like the online is going to keep getting added to like other cities, like from Vice City, you'll be able to go to San Andreas, Los Santos, the other cities that have been in cities, the Chinatown, whatever. But it won't have that much as a single player thing. And for Rockstar, that was the financial correct decision, because that online was making them a gazillion dollars for them. So it made more sense to keep updating that online as opposed to the single player. And I'm just worried that's going to happen with 6. I have no doubt that when 6 comes out, it'll be a full-featured, full game, because it took me forever to finish the single player of 5. So I'm not even going to fault it for that. But like, I always did want just like a little more, and I never really got it. And this just sounds like they'll be just adding more to the online and not much to the single player. But I guess we'll see.
Well,
they're just going to follow the money trail. If online gives them money, they're just going to follow that.
Gotta get them shark credit cards.
They tried to make me buy one recently, and I was like, why would I do that? I say as I spend money on mobile games. Oh, no. Okay. Sorry. No, I just lost the whole chat for a second there. I apologize. What was I gonna say about this? Oh yeah, the only thing I got from first of all, I hope that it's like a Latina woman and a black woman, because that would be awesome. Secondly, I hope they don't. It just reminded me of how disappointed I was in Persona 5 Royal. Like, this entire conversation just reminded me how disappointed I was in Persona 5 Royal. Because for those of us who played for those of us who played Persona 5 back in the day, we can remember how when Persona 5 Royal was announced and they were showing off Kasumi, we all assumed that we would get to choose a female protagonist and be able to play through the game in a different way. And then we were all disappointed to find out, no, you're all wrong. You're gonna just play as Joker again. So that was a whole like time period where there was hopes, anticipation, being able to play as a female character in Persona 5, only to, because they really marketed her as like the brand new like protagonist.
They did.
And then they were like, just kidding, we lied. Like, that's not at all what's happening here. And we didn't get her like that, and apparently, supposedly she's not even in the game that much. So I wouldn't know, because I haven't played it yet, waiting for the Switch release. But yeah, this just reminded me of that. So luckily it's not that. I just always get concerned when I hear developers like, we're gonna release it like this, and then we'll just add more in later. Not sure how I feel about that, guys.
Well,
I don't want to be I don't want to be stuck in my progress of GTA 6 story mode because my internet is out.
I was gonna say that too. The other side of the coin, which could potentially be worse, is that it is all single player content, and you just can't there's two things it could be. Either it'll be a full game at launch, and then they just add more to the single player story with the other cities that just adds more single player content in general, or it could be the story's not complete, and then you have to get it through the single player DLC, which would be awful. And a reason why I bring that possibility even is because that kind of happened with Battlefront 2's campaign. Like if you played the campaign of Battlefront 2, if you got that game right at launch, the final 2 or 3 missions of that game weren't available at launch. Now, they got added for free, but it was still like 3 weeks later that you had to wait to see the finale of the Battlefront 2 campaign. And I was like, why did they do it this way? Why didn't they just... Anyway.
That's the name of the game when I hear things like that. There's a new game from CD Projekt Red devs that has a very Ghost of Tsushima vibe. Or rather... Ghosts of Tsushima energy. This is from Games Radar, written by Austin Wood. The first game from new studio Dark Passenger is moving into production. Dark Passenger is a new Warsaw, Poland-based game studio, partly staffed by the former The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077 devs. And the pitch for its first game reminds us a fair bit of Ghosts of Tsushima and its Legends multiplayer mode, which... amazing. Dark Passenger appeared online earlier this week. It was flagged on Twitter, is currently moving into early production on its first game. The studio's website explains that it's been creating animations, film sequences, characters, and other assets for other indie and AAA games for several years already, and is now embarking on its own project, which is currently in the first production phase. Quote, "We are building an addictive, dark world full of secrets, unusual characters, and conflicts consuming the land of the rising sun." End quote. It's described as a first-person perspective online action game. Dark Passenger's breakout title is aiming for multiplayer with co-op PvE and competitive PvP. It's set sometime in feudal Japan following the rise of an unnamed invader who usurps the throne from the current shogun. Supernatural elements creep in with assassin houses hunting, artifacts hiding extraordinary power as they resist the invader's reign. It's gonna be great. That's all I have to say about that. If it's anything like The Witcher or CD Projekt Red, or if they've learned anything from those games, this all just sounds like it's going to be a really, really great game.
All I gotta say, if it's CD Projekt Red developing it, this game's gonna go crazy in 2026.
Yeah. It sounds as if you're talking about Final Fantasy there for a second. I thought you were talking about Square Enix. Because same applies. It's gonna go crazy in 2026. Yeah, PlayStation Plus also has revealed their monthly games for August, which include Yakuza Like a Dragon, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, and Little Nightmares.
All fantastic games. This was a really good trio to pick. Little Nightmares, I played it on Switch. Very good game. It's horror, but it's not really like gory horror. It's just more like creepy imagery. I highly recommend people give it a try. It's it's scary, but it has a surprising amount of charm to it as well, I'd say. I've never owned Tony Hawk, but I definitely played a lot of it as a kid when friends brought it over. So I'm looking forward to just having it because it's free. And of course, Yakuza. What can we say about Yakuza that Jarrell hasn't already said in many episodes of the podcast?
Jarrell loves it.
He does.
I really do. You guys, I can talk about Yakuza for the next hour, so I won't because I really, really could. If you have PlayStation Plus and you have the opportunity... Okay, well, first of all, Yakuza Like a Dragon has a very shitty ending. I was very pissed off at the end of that game. Fuck them. Fuck whoever made that ending the way that they made it, because, know what you did. Uh-huh.
I don't know. I haven't played the games.
Anyone who's played the game knows the bullshit that I'm talking about at the end of that game, because it was mad bullshit. However, if you do have, the references from the other Yakuza games, it's going to be great. Even if you don't, I did not. I went into this game not having any references. I've mentioned, I think, last week's podcast and before that I really, really enjoy turn-based combat. That is what Yakuza Like a Dragon is. They took it into this new direction, It became amazing. It is like it's just without spoiling anything. Ichigo is like one of the best, most hilarious, lighthearted. He's like if Sora
Ichiban?
was a real. Sorry, shit, Ichiban. Yes, Ichiban Kasuga. Ichiban Kasuga. If Sora was like a real person living, like it would be Ichiban. Like he's just. Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Ichiban's just a great character, and the cast of characters that you meet, they do some stupid shit, but you love them.
And also play Yakuza.
Yes.
You guys really should. It's you really should. It's a little grindy. So if you don't like grinding, I will let you know it's grindy. But I mean, if you like JRPGs, then it's the name of the game. So YOLO. There's also whatever. So Steam now supports Nintendo's classic controllers for Switch Online. You can now use a classic gamepad with your PC games on Steam. You guys know the Nintendo Switch Online NES controllers. You can use those on Steam now. That's pretty dope.
That is pretty cool.
You can also use the wait.
Actually, question, Christy. I wanted to ask you this specifically. The Disney Classic Collection. The Disney Afternoon Collection. I know it's not on Switch. I know it's on PlayStation and Xbox. Is that on Steam? Do you know if that off the top of your head?
Not that I know of. Let me look it up.
Okay. Well, assuming that it is on Steam, now that the Steam supports NES controllers, you can finally play those classic NES games with your NES controller, not on Switch, because that Classic Collection is still not on Switch, man. What you doing?
Supposedly it's on Microsoft Windows. Yes, it is on Steam.
Oh, there you go. Now people can play that with the correct controllers, even though it's not on Switch.
If you got a Steam Deck. So, the Switch-specific NES, SNES, Nintendo 64, and Sega Genesis controllers will now all be working on Steam's latest update. This is from Valve spokesperson Casey Aitchison Boyle, which she confirmed to The Verge, because this article is from TheVerge.com, written by Jay Peters. So yeah, now you guys can, now you guys can, you can do that! Yay! All my old Nintendo heads, you guys can now do that.
I just have all the controllers next to me, so I've just been fiddling with them since you started giving this announcement. They're just all right here.
I love how Jarrell called me and Brandon old. I'm kind of hurt by this.
Did I call y'all old? Did I say y'all?
He's like, all y'all old Nintendo heads, and we're both, kind of Nintendo heads.
I'm sorry, I did. Well, it's not my fault y'all are old Nintendo heads.
You didn't mention this controller, but I'm picking up the Genesis controller anyway because I have it. Flex.
Okay, Christy's not old, guys.
No.
No, I'm not.
She's vibrant, young, and beautiful.
None of us are old. That's the secret.
Thank you.
It's true. None of us are old. I am actually a vampire, and I have been alive for quite some time. And you would think that being alive for quite some time, I'd have more. Never mind. So, Final Fantasy, something I wanted to bring up last time I completely forgot. Final Fantasy VII Bring Arts action figure is coming out. It's Cloud Strife, but it comes with one exchange ticket to redeem the Digital Certificate of Authenticity. The Digital Certificate of Authenticity uses blockchain technology known as NFTs and provides proof of authenticity for your original purchase of the figure. This Digital Certificate of Authenticity can be redeemed at dedicated websites. In order to redeem Digital Certificate of Authenticity, Engine Wallet app will be required. You are also required to create an account, which is free, with the Engine NFT platform, and then you have to agree to their terms and conditions. So yeah, you can now have you can have NFT proof certificate of authenticity for your new cloud.
And this just, fail. Pretty please.
They really just threw a sneaky little NFT with this cool Bring Arts figure and thought no one would notice.
Oh, they knew people would notice. The whole point is they want people to notice because they know how much money they can make in NFTs. And
or can they? It's been crashing lately.
Well, I mean, the possibility is still there, and they have enough money to try.
They do have enough money to try. It's like how K-pop, they I think a few months ago they were debuting a different girl group and they were trying to, sell NFTs as well too. And you're like, this is dumb. Let's make it crash and burn.
Makes sense. So I missed this. I should have brought this up when we were talking about Marvel, but I can bring it up now. I'm the host. I can do this. That's fine. Jessica Alba says that Marvel movies lack diversity and are still quite Caucasian. This is from Complex.com, written by Jose Martinez. Quote, even if you look at the Marvel movies, that's the biggest driver of fantasy and what's happening right now in entertainment because it's sort of the family thing. It's still quite Caucasian, Alba told Glamour UK. I would say I was one of the few back in the day, and it was before Marvel was sold to Disney, but it's still quite more of the same. Alba, who is Latina, played Susan Storm in 2005's Fantastic Four and 2007's Rise of the Silver Surfer, both of which were distributed by 20th Century Fox well before the merger with Disney. Marvel. This article goes on to say that Marvel Studios has made progress towards becoming more inclusive in recent years, with the Falcon taking over as Captain America, releasing Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings last year with the Asian American superhero, and getting Latino actor Oscar Isaacs to play Moon Knight in the series of the same name. Alba said her push for greater diversity stems from a desire for younger people to see themselves represented in Hollywood. Quote, I just think more for the younger people who are coming up, who are going to be our future leaders. It's important for them to see the world on screen or in the stories and the dreams that we create as entertainers. It reflects the world that they're in. End quote. And then she does go on to say a little bit about what she had to deal with, about how people couldn't figure out her her ethnicity.
Because she couldn't be casted as a Latina. She's very white passing for a Latina.
I don't have to read the quote then. Go ahead.
No, it's almost like how Brenda's song, where she auditioned for Crazy Rich Asians and she got rejected because she wasn't Asian enough.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yes, she mentioned it. She mentioned it on a show, right? Or like a talk show, I think it was.
Yeah, she mentioned it on a talk show that, she actually, because people were like, oh yeah, she would have been a great shoe and whatnot. She's like, yeah, I actually did audition, except they rejected me. I wasn't Asian enough. Which,
So, Jessica Alba, she said that Marvel movies lack diversity and they're still quite Caucasian. How do you guys feel about her quote? So this was said in 2022, like this last month, right? In July.
So looking at the history of Marvel films, the unfortunate consequence of going by the most well-known characters first is that she's absolutely right. That for the first two, honestly, Avengers films was all white people. So she's absolutely right in that
they wanted to market to their certain market demographic and whatnot, which is those type of people. Sometimes they're not as accepting of diversity.
Correct.
And even then,
I really agree with you there. So I don't know that I necessarily agree with you there.
I mean, granted, at that same time, Marvel Studios, they were also under, there was a different head at the studio at the time too, where that's what he wanted. And there was lots of pushing and shoving within Marvel, is what I remembered as well too. So there were some like background issues, which I would suspect played a role. However, I do agree with her that at the history, it's very, very Caucasian.
Yeah.
She didn't say the history.
She said now.
Well,
is what she said.
Even
now. And that's
now it still is.
It still is.
Still very much is.
If we're talking about specifically the movies, then yes, she's absolutely right, because Eternals had a very diverse cast, and Shang-Chi obviously had an Asian lead, but that's just 2 movies as far as like the movies we've had. Now, if we're talking about the shows that we've been getting into lately, there's obviously a lot more diversity there. You mentioned Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight, a Latino man. Then you have we just had Miss Marvel, which had a Pakistani female teenager as its lead as well. And then we're going to be getting like stuff like Ironheart, which is going to be a black woman character as well. And even before that, it's almost, I said earlier in this podcast, it's almost assured that it's going to be Shuri or Okoye being the new Black Panther, which is another black woman as like a lead. So I think Marvel, going forward with its new generation of characters, is looking to be have more diversity than we had before. Because, yeah, based on the films we've had so far, Jessica Alba is absolutely right. It's been primarily Caucasian, and there's movies that are coming up that I think will address that and have more diversity in its cast. But we aren't there yet, so I think they're going in the right direction, but we will just have to see to make sure that it pans out in the way that I hope it does.
I think there's... Oh, I'm so sorry. I think there were lots of hopes that Phase 4 might have been more diverse, but it really hasn't been. It's still very much Caucasian. And with the way that I think Phase 5 was looking at, it could be mostly Caucasian as well, too. I guess we'll just wait and see, but kind of hoping that they do address it.
The reason I said I don't necessarily agree with you, and I was actually going to give them a pass for earlier films, is specifically because, like, for Avengers and stuff, those I don't think, I personally don't think that you should be trying to diversify characters that aren't already ethnic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need you to make I don't know, a Black Thor. It's not necessary. If he's white in the comics, cast the white guy. That's totally fine. And I think for a lot of what they did in the beginning was just they casted people that could fit the role based on the comics. And I think that's fair. I think that's fine. I think that's fair. I think, do that, because I'd rather you just do that than just cast for diversity purposes, make someone who change a character's race just to try to, make them fit in. Not saying that they would, but there's a possibility that could have happened, and I totally give them a pass for making the Avengers be almost an all-white cast, because most of those comic book characters are almost all white anyway. So that's, like, to me, that's fine. And I think it does start with the comics that they're deciding to the comics and the characters that they're choosing. It starts there. So it does start with comic creators. And we don't have very many, and like, she's 100% right, it is still very Caucasian, because we don't have very many choices at the end of the day to pick through when you're looking at specific Marvel characters to add.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
a very limited amount. Go ahead.
You brought up a very good point, Jarrell, about the fact that it's on the comic book creators to help create these more diverse characters so they can eventually get their shine, because Marvel Comics existed in the 1940s and it's got its popularity in the 60s, and obviously during that time it was just all like white characters. That was like the norm, right? But in recent years we have started to see a lot more diversity in our Marvel characters. Now, obviously, because they haven't been around as long, they're not as well known. So it's like you said, Jero, they picked the white people to play these characters because that's what they were originally. That's how people know them to be. But now, that's why I think there's such an opportunity with the later phases, because now that Marvel has gotten so big, they can take risks with these characters, or give these characters that may not have originally gotten as much shine the budget that they needed to have the shine. I think it's a good thing that, like, Black Panther came out in Phase 3, because at that point now he has the budget to really have made the impact that he did. I think that if it came out in Phase 1, it may not have, and I think I really feel like Black Panther came out at the time where it could, like, reach the most impact.
Well, the issue was that I feel like Black Panther could have been made. However, there was a different person leading Marvel Studios at the time that would have totally vetoed that idea, because there were talks about Black Widow having a film in Phase 2 that got canned because of the head at the time, and the head got ousted.
So what I was gonna say before is that even though I give them a pass, that doesn't mean that I don't think that it was a very agendaed type of, like, casting. Like, don't get me wrong, I do believe that it was. I'm just saying I give them a pass for it because that's what the characters are. As far as Black Panther goes, It did come out. I do agree with you that it did come out at, I guess, the right time. However, one of the reasons that movie did so well is because it was the first time that Black people got to go and take your entire family and see a story about you, where there is no colonization, where there is a time where you get to have a history, where you get to see what could have been. That is why that movie did so well. It had very little, I think, to do with the time it was released. It was much more of a community release for us to be able to go and see a part of something that we never get to do. That's why Black Panther was received.
There were communities that booked their entire theater to take some of the kids to go see Black Panther. I remember reading that there were huge. I think some foundations, they booked like theaters to take some of the kids in like the underprivileged communities to go see Black Panther, because it is a huge deal.
And that's just the power of, the minority dollar. Because when we get together, it's really the power of like what we can do. And even, we talked about the first Pakistani woman to be in a Marvel movie of her own series, and it's one of the highest rated series from that show, right? Because we're showing up, we're seeing our stories being told. That's great. However, I still agree with Jessica Alba that the movies are still very Caucasian, because I think specifically when she mentions talking about, taking your kids and going to see these family films, you're thinking about something like the Avengers, where all of them get together and you get to watch like all of them, you get to watch the big superhero movie. Excuse me, that's not the same effect as watching individual stories. Shang-Chi is not the same effect as Endgame, right? Black Panther is not the same effect as what was the one before Endgame?
Infinity War.
It's not the same effect as Infinity War, right? Like, so I think when she says that, that's what I think of. Like, that's when you're taking all your family and friends to go see the next big Avengers movie. That is still a very white movie. Like, that's
it really is
a very Caucasian film. Now that does not discount Shang-Chi and Black Panther and Oscar Isaacs as Moon Knight and any other diversity that's spread throughout Marvel since then. That does not discount that. However, that still is not what we're going to see as Avengers in big groups. Those are individuals going to see those films because they're represented in those films. And that's why they're going to see them. So at the end of the day, I completely agree with her. It is still a very, even going forward, it's still a very Caucasian-centric series right now. When you like, if I look at the last Avengers film, how many people of color were in that film?
There
weren't that many.
About maybe like a quarter, I'd say, out of the cast.
Who was in that cast?
The Avengers Endgame? As far as are you talking about the main cast or everyone that appeared in that final battle?
I'm just the main cast.
Okay, just the main cast. Well, there was Rhodey. There was, I don't know what nationality Nebula is. I'm not gonna count that.
But she's played by Karen Gillan.
Isn't that Karen Gillan?
Yeah, she's blue. So I had no idea. I had no idea what she actually. Because I don't think I've ever seen the actress outside of the makeup person. So
she's Caucasian.
Okay, then
Scottish woman. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, I'm thinking about her now. There's Rhodey. Okoye was not part of the main cast, so not her as well. He's like the one I'm thinking about. It's like as far as like the main cast, because Sam and Black Panther didn't come back until like the end. Yeah.
I'm going to look up the cast. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Renner, Brie Larson, Paul Rudd, Tom Holland, stop me when I name a person of color, Karen Gillian, Josh Brolin, Lexi Rabe, Elizabeth Olsen, Sebastian Stan, Tom Hiddleston, Chris Pratt. Got one. Chadwick Boseman. Got two. John Cheadle.
But that's what I was saying. I was like, as far as the cast before the portal, it was just Don Cheadle. I think.
Which is probably like Benedict maybe like what?
Gwyneth Paltrow. 3. Anthony Mackie. Zoe Saldana 4. Gwyneth Paltrow. I said, but Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah, I just mentioned how many people, and I gave you 4 people of color so far.
It's maybe like only like an eighth of the cast.
Yeah,
Benedict Wong. That's 5. And I could keep going, but her point, I think,
not even a quarter. If we count everybody, like
and that's actually the extended cast. I went past the main cast. Like, I went to the extended cast.
So if it's just main for Endgame before the portal scene, then it's just Don Cheadle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, even going forward, I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't know what the next Avengers are gonna look like. We'll see what they decide. Like, I know we do have an idea of what it could be, but what they're gonna choose to go with, we'll find out. Who knows?
Right.
Anything else on this?
Nah.
Also, I just wanted to mention that Miss Marvel actually did have a movie trilogy release in Pakistan because it's that big of a deal.
That's awesome.
So there's that.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's why people are going. It's like such a big deal because it's not only just going. It's not just you going, right? It's like you making a family experience. It's you showing your kids. It's you being able to really relate to something. Like it's renting out renting out the theaters. It's going with the community. It's a community event. Those are really big deals. And you don't get that. Rather, you do get that when you're talking about the Avengers, but you don't get it with you don't get it with within that community. You get it within the fan community, and that's wonderful. I'm not trying to discount fans going to see films together, etc. But it's really just not the same. And I completely agree with her. Even now, it's still very Caucasian. And you know what? Y'all do y'all. You do you is all I'm gonna say about that. I'm not complaining that it's very Caucasian. I don't want it to sound like I am. I'm not complaining that there are a lot of white people in Avengers. That's totally fine because, like I mentioned, it's based on the comics where a lot of these people were white anyway. I do not need you to go in and make Thor black for no reason. Don't do it, because when y'all did do it in the comic books, you fucking tried it, so don't do it.
Oh my god, I saw the Twitter images. Are you referring to the Twitter thing where they apparently made Miles Morales Thor in the What If? Yeah, that was bad. I saw images. That was bad. Yeah, there was a What If Marvel What If comic where in one of their latest issues they did a What If is with Miles Morales became Thor, and it was not written by a person of color. And it was really bad. I thought it wasn't. I thought that was what I was reading, that it was it was not written by a person of color.
That was a Latino man who helped draw and write some of that.
Okay, I see.
However, he is a great example of the difference between white Latinos and black Latinos and the difference between experiences, because they are two very different things. So yes, it was a person of color. However, it was not a black person who decided to write this black kid, and it was very obvious that it was whatever. You get the point.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. It was not good.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Okay, I have a headache. Let's move on. Shonen manga's first black female protagonist is here in Clock Striker by Isaka Galadima with Frederick L. Jones, I think, on lettering. Clock Striker Volume 1 is out for pre-order with 200 plus pages, and it looks pretty good. I had to bring it up. So if you are looking for a shonen manga with a black female protagonist, Clock Striker is the one you should be checking out. So I
really hope it does well.
And check it out.
I do as well. The art looks really good. I saw the cover art and it looks really colorful and nice. Yeah, I really hope it does well. That is just not heard of in manga, to have a black female character. It just doesn't happen. Not a protagonist. They exist like a sidekick, like Yoruichi. Yoruichi
protagonist wise.
Yeah, exactly. But not a protagonist. That just doesn't happen.
It's really rare, especially for manga.
Yeah.
Finally.
I'm going to touch that.
We've got about 25 minutes left. How do you guys feel about playing a game of 20 questions video game version?
I am down for that.
Okay.
We can do it, Christy. We got this.
Okay.
So, Chrissy, this is going to be your first episode of us playing Video Game 20 Questions. Do you know how it works?
I will find out. How's that?
Yeah, so
let's just start.
You and Brandon
Trial
get
by
to
fire.
you and Brandon get to ask only yes or no questions to try to figure out what game I have in mind. And this game was
Is there a Pikachu?
This game
Peachy.
This game was actually provided by one of our Patreon members.
Oh no. We can't reach Charles' line.
So yeah, it's not me. So it's not a game that I chose. But yeah, I think we can go ahead and get started. So ask me your yes or no questions. You got 19 questions and a guess.
Okay. I'm gonna start with the. No, actually, let me start this way. Was this released within the last decade?
No.
Okay, so we got another
Wait, it's original. Well, never mind. I'm gonna pick a different game. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pick a different game.
Broke the game in one question. Let's go.
Makes me wonder if it was Live Alive.
It was not. It was Final Fantasy X. And now it's so now I definitely have to pick a different game. This one is gonna be a game that's my choice. Let me think. Okay, I'm ready to go. I'm sorry. Start over. Ask me another question.
Okay.
Same question. Was it released within the past decade?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We got a 2012 or later game. All right. Is this game
Wait. First, how should we define decade? From
2012
what was it? 2012 to 2022, or is it from July 2012 to July 2022? How are you defining decade?
I did just 2012 to 2022.
Okay.
Very good question.
Yeah. So the second question, is this game multi-platform?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So it's a game that's not a console exclusive last decade. So
does that mean it might not be? That rules out a lot of Nintendo titles.
Pretty much, it rules out pretty much every Nintendo title, in fact. So we're looking for a nice old third-party game here. Okay.
Well, we should narrow it down by companies. I feel like.
Yeah.
Ask or should we?
I really feel like I should tell you guys that question probably really just fucked you up. But keep going.
But multi-platform, does it also, granted, within the past decade we had the 3DS, so it could have been like Wii 3DS or Switch 3DS, so that works too.
That's very true. It could have been ported to other systems. So, Okay.
So it couldn't have been only on the Switch or the Wii U or the Wii.
That's true. That's very, very true. Okay. All right then. We should probably figure out the company or genre. I will let you ask the next question, however.
Let me see. Was it released on a Nintendo console?
No.
That sounded like a very unsure no.
That sounded like very much unsure.
On a Nintendo console, no.
So it's not a Nintendo. So it is not a Nintendo.
Honestly, y'all are not gonna get this game. I'll tell you right now. You're just not gonna get this game. I shouldn't have picked this game. But no, it was not released on a Nintendo console.
All right. Watches this like Yakuza to promote his.
The thing is, it was not released on a Nintendo console, but that doesn't mean that it won't be released on a Nintendo console.
We should figure out the genre.
Which I basically just told you what game it was. So, this is over.
It could release on a Nintendo console. What games could be released on a Nintendo console? Let me see.
All right, I'm just going to ask the question. Is this an RPG?
Yes, it is. Gabe has a question.
Okay. Does this count as our guess if I read that question?
I mean, if you ask me, then yes, it does. You can read the question, but if you're asking it, yes, it does count.
Gabe asked, "Is not my question," but Gabe asked, "Is the game Persona 4?" And it's okay. It doesn't count. Awesome. All right. So, but it is an RPG.
Actually, it's an RPG. However, Jarrell also likes Persona 5, so it could also be Persona 5, which is releasing on a Nintendo console.
That's correct. Question 5: Is this a game made by Atlas?
Yes.
All right, so it's Persona. It's one of them. We just got to figure out which one. All right, let's do this. All right, does this game?
We should ask if it involves TVs.
Does this game involve
That's what we
TVs?
should ask.
That's a very good question, actually.
Does it involve you going into TV worlds
No.
within the TV?
It does not.
Okay, does this character have a cat? Does this game have a character that's a cat that tells you to go to bed?
Yes.
All right, so we got to figure out if it's regular or royal.
So, does this
You
game
don't have to figure out whether it's regular or royal. You've already answered whether it's regular or royal because you've already asked if it's coming to other consoles, and the answer was yes.
We didn't ask that question. You kind of posited.
You asked, is it
multi? We asked if it's multi-platform
and then
or
you
something
asked
like
about
that.
Switch,
That's
and I said not currently. I didn't say not currently, but
because
whatever. We're choosing a different game. You guys got it already.
Jarrell
Just say the name of the game.
Persona.
Thank you. Which
5.
one?
Royal.
All right, we got time for another game because that was just really bad.
Okay.
Okay, so, question. Do you guys want an easy game or a hard game for your last one?
I'll leave it to Christy. I can do either.
I'm fine. Flip a coin.
So she said hard. All right, let's do hard.
Okay.
Wait,
hold on one second.
Oh, I was going to flip this coaster, but okay.
No.
Oh. All right. Go ahead. Let the questioning begin.
All right, released in the last decade. Was it
Yes.
released in the last decade? Okay, awesome. Is this game...
And decade, we're going by the same parameters, right? For
Yes,
decade?
ma'am.
Okay.
Awesome. Is this game a console exclusive?
Yes.
Awesome. So it's a console exclusive released in the last decade. Now we got to figure out the console. Okay, was this game released on a PlayStation system?
No.
Okay.
Was it released on a Nintendo system?
No.
So that leaves Xbox.
Or PC.
Well, it leaves Xbox and PC.
It does. It does. It does. Do we want to ask that question, Christy? Do we want to assume it's Xbox, or do we want to ask the question to be sure?
Got 15 questions and a guess.
We're at 4.
So we're at 4. What questions have we asked so far? If it was released in the last decade.
Correct.
Then
it's a console exclusive, and I asked 2 questions. You asked the question if it's on Nintendo. I asked if it's on PlayStation. It is not on either. So it would.
Okay.
One would assume that leaves Xbox, but like you said, it could also be PC. So do we want to ask
we're
that
also
question?
using the same parameters as well, where decade is defined as July 2012 to July 2022.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to ask the question. Is this game on Xbox?
Yes.
An Xbox system? Yes. Okay, perfect. So if it's within the last decade, that could mean it's a 360, Xbox One, or Series game. Exclusive to that console series. So it's an Xbox.
Should we ask if this developer has been bought out by Microsoft or joined the Microsoft family? Should we go with that question?
That's a good one.
Would that help narrow things down?
Yeah, go ahead and ask that. That sounds good.
Okay. Has the developer of this game has the developer joined the Microsoft family? Like, Microsoft purchased them?
Yes.
That sounded iffy. So yes?
I said yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the answer is yes.
Xbox.
If it's not, this is on me, but I'm pretty sure the answer is yes.
I just realized that Xbox pretty much buys most of their studios. Well,
They pretty much do.
Ooh, we got a new chatter. Jericho Swan saying, "Good morning, all." Good morning. What time zone are you watching us from, if I may ask? But thank you for coming to our stream. Anyways, Okay, so it's a studio that was purchased by Xbox, and it's an exclusive. Okay. Is this a third-person shooter?
No.
Okay, so it's not Gears of War. Jericho Swan says, I am across the pond in Britain. Oh, thank you for coming for reviewing us from Britain. Appreciate you. Wow, it must be quite early.
Oh my god, it's like super early. What?
Like you could also define that as
2 a.m. No?
Yeah, like 2. Wow, you are up late / up early. Thank you for coming out at these crazy hours. Alrighty then. Okay, so it's not a third-person shooter. Is it a first-person shooter?
No.
So it's not a shooter. Like, I mean, I don't know.
It's not a shooter, you say.
It's because I don't know. A second-person shooter? No, that doesn't really exist. Okay, so not Halo or Gears of War. We got to expand our minds here.
Expand your mind.
I'm going to ask a crazy question. Is this an RPG?
No.
So it's not Fable either. Darn. Jericho says that he has a busy day later, so now there will be showtime. This is a guessing game at the moment. Yes, it is. We're playing a game of 20 questions where Jarrell, our wonderful host, has a game in his noggin, and myself and Christy are giving have 20 questions, yes or no questions, to figure out what the game is. And we are, how many questions in, Jarrell?
We're 9.
9. So we have 11 more questions to figure out what this game is. Christy, any ideas of what we could ask him to try to get this game? Because we did choose the hard one.
I mean, you chose it.
We chose the hard question.
Christy's like, you chose it, okay?
No.
I was gonna flip.
I was about to flip my coaster to figure out which one I wanted to do.
Well, I saw into the future and saw that we would have picked the hard question, so that was you from the future saying yes, that we both picked it. Therefore, we. Anyway.
Because we're running out of time.
We are running out of time.
We are.
Do you want to ask another genre question, or what are we thinking here?
Was it a console exclusive for the Xbox One?
Ooh.
Well, I don't know how to answer that question, so I can't answer that. What can you rephrase the question?
Let's see. Oh, that's right. The series, you can do backwards compatibility.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know how to answer that. You guys have a comment?
Jericho has an interesting question that I'm not asking quite just yet, but they're asking, is the game older than 6 years? We have the decade question, but that could help narrow it down a little bit if we want to go that route.
That could.
Yeah, so far they know that the game was released within the last decade.
Yes. But if we go 6 years, and that will narrow it down even further, because that would put us between 2012 and 2016. Do we want to go with that, Christy?
Wait, what?
Wait, what? Released within the last 6 years? Wouldn't that
would be
put
2016 to 2022.
Yeah. July 2016 to July 2022.
The question was, the game is older than 6 years. If he says...
Oh, older than 6 years.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and ask that. Is the game older than 6 years?
Nope. That's 10.
Okay.
Older. So then we are within the 2016 to 2022 range. So this is definitely Xbox One or Series X. Gabe is asking on chat, again, this is not our question, but he is saying, ask if the game had several re-releases. I wonder.
Well, if it's not older than 6 years, it wouldn't have re-releases, would it?
Don't think so.
Has there been a game that been... Uh-oh.
Is Persona 5 not a game that's gotten re-released?
I mean, it will.
On, like, multiple, like, it is not 6 years old?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well,
Hades. He did say Hades.
Hades did get on several. Jericho says, "Nah, reboots only happen that quick in Hollywood."
Facts.
Gabe says Fall Guys. Oh no, I guess he's naming games that got re-releases in all those years. That's true. Yeah, games do be releasing a lot these years, so that's fair. But no, like going back to like Xbox exclusives.
You're running out of time.
Oh,
you have 9 questions and a guess.
Hold on, I got an interesting question. Was this game always a console exclusive?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not Tomb Raider.
yeah, that's not Tomb Raider.
Yes, it is an Xbox exclusive.
Purely exclusive. Well, this is that. I guess that's why he defines this as a hard question, because this is.
And they don't know any Xbox games, so this is great.
Jericho, yes, it's an Xbox exclusive, and I asked if it's a first-person shooter, so it is definitely not Halo.
Because it is not a first-person shooter.
That's right.
No.
Oh God.
And we rolled out Gears of War as well too, right?
Mm-hmm.
We did, and we also rolled out Fable. So those are the 3 main ones that I knew of: Halo, Gears, and Halo. And I also ruled out.
You're asking the wrong.
We also ruled out Tomb Raider because I asked that exclusivity always exclusivity question. Okay, what else has been on Xbox?
Gabe.
Watch as it's like the Dusk game.
Well, I guess
are you asking?
Hold on. Is this game a narrative-driven game?
Yes.
I mean, then it's possible, Christy. that is an Xbox exclusive. This game.
It is. And I mean, Jarrell did play it.
He did play it.
But we didn't even narrow that. So.
I mean, you can ask if it's a game I've played before. If you'd like to make that a question.
Ask him.
Let me see what other narrative games are on the Xbox that are exclusive.
But you would probably need Game Pass to know that.
Yeah, what's Game Pass?
Yeah, what's Game Pass, Jarrell? Please explain.
I don't know. It's some random thing. Never heard of it.
Oh, you mean the Xbox exclusive? I mean, version of the PlayStation X Deluxe tier?
Is this a game that Jarrell has played within the past month?
Yes.
Wow. Good job, Christy. Do you want to just throw out the guess, or?
Well, what if we're wrong?
Hey, hey, question. Does this game have the word dusk in the title?
Yes, it does.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just do it. Is this game?
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, it is. That was
Let's
go!
Literally. Woo!
I was like, oh, they could get this so easy. Literally just ask if it's a game that I played recently. Or just ask, is it a game that I mentioned on the podcast today? And both of those answers would be yes. Also, Jericho said heresy when we said... Jericho, question. Do you enjoy Xbox Game Pass? Since you said that, are you an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, and do you enjoy it?
Also, we were totally joking. We know what Game Pass is.
Yeah, yeah, congratulations, guys. You got the hard one. I was gonna make it even harder, but I was like, anything Xbox, they're never gonna know, because I know that I'm probably the only person who uses Game Pass on this podcast right now.
I definitely.
Had it since beta. Oh shoot! All right.
Wow.
Fair.
That's
a long time. It's a long time to be subscribed to Game Pass.
Really though.
Yeah, I think I'm the only person really, aside from Kelly, who uses Game Pass enough to know. But yeah, the other one was gonna be. I'll save it for next time.
Okay.
Because we're actually out of time. I'm so sorry, Jericho, that you came now when we're about to end the podcast.
But definitely tune into other streams, because we would love to see you again. This is obviously a very late time or a very early time for you. But hey, if you ever happen to have another chill time around this time period, definitely tune in. We usually stream around 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. most nights. Eastern time, that is. So whatever time it is for you now, that's around the time we stream. So
like an hour ago.
Honestly,
no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're ever in the area, we would love to see you again. Any gave us a follow. Thank you so much, Jericho. Yes, we would
Yay,
love to see
you.
We would definitely love to see you again.
Yeah, we do video game podcasts every week from HPCritical.com. That's where we're all writers at, so you can go check that out as well. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can go to HPCritical.com and you'll see like all of our YouTubes and Twitch streams and all that wonderful stuff. And you can subscribe to the podcast as well if you want to just hear us talk video game news every week. And I think with that, we're pretty much done. So thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Christy, for coming to talk to me this week. It was a short... I'm so happy you said that. I can't wait to talk to you again. It was a very short week on news, which is totally fine because we got to play a wonderful game of 20 questions. Thank you for everyone watching. Thank you for everyone who listens later on. And I think with that, we're going to go ahead and head out. So good night, guys.
Bye. Later day.